Hey guys, welcome back to Nerd Crave. Wanted to give you a bit of a channel update today, as well as talk about some of the implications of coronavirus and gaming and what we should all be doing and thinking right now as this tough time approaches us. Sit back, grab a drink, stay tuned, I'll be right back. Okay guys, welcome back. Well, as far as the channel update goes, there's a few things I wanted to go over with you. As you know, Nerd Crave is all about celebrating nerds, whatever your passion is. Comics, anime, movies, books, television, video games, toys, whatever you are passionate about, we are here to celebrate it with you. Coming into my third month running this channel, I've done about 15 videos covering a wide range of topics. I've been doing over 2 videos a week. I'm slowing down a little bit right now because of some pressures with work. I've got a new job, which I mentioned in a previous video. This whole coronavirus has got things really crazy as well. So I'm having a really hard time pushing out those 2 videos a week right now. But please bear with me because I do have a ton of great content planned for this channel and for you, the viewer. I've had some requests for episodes about a couple of different topics. So in the coming weeks, you will be seeing videos about Pokemon for Noobs, for example. I just recently, and I'll cover that in a second, but I just recently was gifted a copy of Pokemon Heart Gold, which will essentially be my first experience with Pokemon other than playing about an hour of Pokemon XD on the GameCube. I had a request from a viewer for a video about Firefly, the TV show Firefly. That is in production right now, and it should be out in the next week or so. I've got another video in production about my PS1 memories going back 20 odd years and discussing what the PlayStation 1 meant to me, bringing me into the world of gaming, really bringing me back into the world of gaming as I had kind of moved away from gaming in my teens and stuff like that, got involved in sports and other activities, social activities, and really moved away from gaming until the PS1 came along, and it kind of changed my life and brought me to who I am today. So stay tuned for that video. That should be dropping in the next week or so as well. We're also going to do a video in the coming weeks on the state of collecting in 2020. Collecting as a hobby, whether it's video games or comic books or trading cards, has become a business in many of the markets. Some of the markets are emerging, like VHS movies, for example, which is just growing into a collectibles market. Some markets, like comic books, are very mature, and the rules and procedures for collecting are quite a bit different from market to market. So we're going to do a video discussing that. You should be seeing that video in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I also have a couple of retrospective videos planned, one on Carl Barks, the artist that created Uncle Scrooge, and one on Don Rosa, another Disney Ducks artist. Those should be coming down the pipe pretty soon as I review some of the books from the Carl Barks collection and the Don Rosa collection published by Fantagraphics Books. Now, I just want to talk about some of the gifts to the channel that I've received in the last little while. A good friend from work gave me a copy of Pokemon Heart Gold, which I mentioned a couple of minutes ago. Pokemon Heart Gold is considered by many Pokemon fans to be one of the best entries in the series. I have very little experience with Pokemon. I'm definitely a noob when it comes to Pokemon. So I'm going to be experiencing this game for the first time. I've just started playing it. I'm 2 hours into the game, and I gotta tell you, I am enjoying it. There's a lot of stigma around Pokemon as being a kid's game. I sort of used to look down on it as my son was a major fan, but I've started to see, in the last couple of years with Pokemon Go and a couple of the other things that have come out recently, it's kind of sparked my interest. So when somebody gave me a copy of Heart Gold, which is one of the more collectible games in the series, I just can't pass up this opportunity to play it, see what it's all about. So I will be giving you my thoughts on Pokemon for Noobs in the coming weeks. A couple other gifts that I've received in the last little while that I'm pretty excited about, and these are sentimental to me. This means something to me. My daughter is a real fan of art, and I've had her working on some projects. guess a couple of months ago, I gave her a Wii Mini that I had tracked down on Facebook Marketplace really cheap, and she customized it for me, and you can see it there. That's my custom Wii Mini done by my daughter. I think it's very cute, and that will stay in my collection forever. And just a couple of days ago, she gave me the second project she did, which is my PS2 Slim, which is now customized with this cool Galaxy theme. So I have two customized consoles from my daughter now. The next one I'm going to be giving her is my black Xbox 360. It's just a basic black one, so I'm going to get her to do something cool with that. I eventually would like to have half a dozen of these customized consoles. It gives me something to bond with my daughter with, little projects for her to work on, and she feels involved in my hobby, so I really appreciate it when she does these sorts of things for me, and I will treasure these forever. Even if the consoles fail and don't work anymore, I will definitely keep them forever because they're a keepsake for me. So guys, bear with me. The channel is new. As I said, we're just coming into month 3. I think this is my 15th or 16th video. What I would like to know is, what kind of content do you want to see? I like to talk about video games a lot. Video games are really important to me in my collecting, but I'm also very interested in collecting and reviewing VHS tapes and movies. I do collect VHS and beta tapes, Laserdisc. There's a lot of things that I collect, comic books. I like to collect really cool stuff like this, which is a beautiful hardcover book of Warner Brothers animation art. I've showed this on a previous video, but I really get off on the history of animation and the history of pop culture. And something like this, the artwork in these books is amazing. The history is amazing. There's just so much to be said for going back in our history and learning about where pop culture came from, what it was like in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. A lot of comic books got their start as newspaper strips. The character Flash Gordon, again, I've showed this book on a previous video as well, but this is where Flash Gordon began. Now, this is obviously not a 80-year-old book. This is a reprint, but this contains all beautifully remastered copies of the original Flash Gordon stories. I really get off on stuff like that. What do you get off on? What sort of things make you really nerdy? What sort of things make you just absolutely passionate about sharing your favorite things with your friends, with your family? I'd like to know what turns you on. I'd really like to know for future videos what kinds of things you are interested in, because in a lot of cases, I'm going to be interested in the same things too, and I just need suggestions as to what sorts of things you would like to hear me talk about on my channel. So this brings me to the second half of the video, and this is a sensitive topic, the coronavirus, COVID-19. This is scaring the hell out of a lot of people, and a lot of things are closing down. Events have been canceled everywhere. A lot of people are staying home from work, working from home if they can, or just staying home altogether. And it brings an interesting point to the table, and that what do you do with all this free time? What do you do with your kids' free time? I know my kids are home from school indefinitely. So what do you do with your kids for all this free time? I know I am setting up a Wii for my daughters so that they can have some games to play. For myself, I still have to work at the moment. Definitely planning on spending some additional time with some things that are in my backlog. So I wanted to show you a couple of things that are in my backlog that I am going to be focusing on over the next couple of weeks. As, we avoid going out to restaurants, we avoid going out to sporting events and things like that because of this whole disaster. Here's what I'm going to be doing in the next couple of weeks. I've recently discovered these Eaglemoss Star Trek hardback graphic novels. These are available as a subscription through Eaglemoss, but I was actually able to find the first 6 or 8 of these at a dollar store where they were clearing them out. These are reprints of some of the most classic Star Trek comic books of all time. You're going to find reprints of The Next Generation, you're going to find reprints of the original series, DS9, all kinds of different comics are brought together. There's something like 50 or 75 volumes in this set, so I'm definitely looking forward to checking out the 6 or 8 books that I got and deciding whether I want to subscribe to get the rest of the set. I'm also going to be going through my back catalog of gaming magazines that I've been picking up at thrift stores and things like that. I've got quite a few different gaming magazines that I want to go through. I feel like these are going to give me some ideas for some future videos. And of course, gaming. So I will be spending quite a bit of time with my 3DS over the next couple of weeks, as I'm just starting to get into Pokemon Heart Gold, and I'm also working my way through Fantasy Life, both of which are time-consuming RPG games. So what are you going to be doing with your time in the next couple of weeks? Will you be continuing to work, continuing to engage with the population, or are you going to scale it back and spend some more time at home, maybe catch up on some TV shows, catch up on some games you missed? I know there's several console games outside my 3DS that I'm looking forward to getting to. I started Tales of Xillia a couple of months ago and got distracted, so I'd like to go back to that. I'm also hoping to replay Parasite Eve, which is my favorite game of all time. I'm also looking to carry on with Final Fantasy XIII, which I started with my son before I moved out to this end of the country, and now I'm not going to be able to finish it with my son, so I'm going to start it all over again. I actually have a different Xbox 360 than I had back home. It was cheaper to buy a new one than it was to ship my old one, so unfortunately I have to start all over again, so I'm going to be getting into that pretty shortly. So what are you guys going to do to fill the time? Let me know. Okay guys, so if you've made it all the way to the video, thanks for sticking with me. I want to say thank you to my 35 subscribers as we move towards 50. Alright guys, thanks so much for sticking with me to the end of the video. If you're new here, please subscribe. Please leave comments down below telling me what you're going to do in the next couple of weeks during coronavirus. And as I move towards 50 subs, I'm more and more concerned with giving you the content that you want. So please don't be afraid to leave me a comment, leave me a thumbs up if you would. It definitely helps the channel more than you know. Have a great day, guys. Stay classy.